other rental scale-up members. I am now joined by Nino Dubrectic. Nino is with us from Croatia, and he's the founder of Direct Booker. Direct Booker is a property management company that actually has 22 franchises across 8 countries. I think recently, you got even an award, the Shorties Award in London. So you are recognized in Europe as an upcoming property manager. So I'm very happy to have you here. And I just want to say you hello and how are you?
Hi Thibault, thank you for having me here in a big stage as we are here in Croatia, a little bit aside, but it's nice to be a part of this community that is together, and as I see we are keeping each other together, so I'm very much appreciate to be part of it.
So Nino, I'm super happy to have you here on board because we'll be talking about not only how what the situation is in local markets, what is this usually, what it is like now, and what's probably will be happening in when the demand comes back. But we'll also be talking about business models, right? How you grew with franchises, and we'll maybe contrast this with other business models. That's going to be very interesting for property managers or vacation rental owners listening to us to think, maybe I could do that or should do that. We'll be also talking with you about what you're doing with your government, right? So you're very involved in helping not only property managers, but also vacation rental owners getting some help, some relief measures from the government. But very interesting again. We're talking about what you can do. It's applicable across the world, of course, as a property manager, maybe to reach out to others and try to get organized. And so that's, I think, this again, we're talking about a local market, but you can see we'll see with Nino, it's things really could be applied by a lot of us listening. So can you first tell us a bit more about Direct Booker?
Yeah. Direct Booker, we started in 2010 as the property management company, and still we are the property management company, although we won the Shorties Award for the best OTA. It was the part of the nomination for the best OTA in the terms of bringing new units optimized on the OTAs, and in that context we are really the, let's say, on the high grade. So Direct Booker today, we have like way spreading us. Our core business is of course a property management company, but on the other hand we have our own technology, PMS, and the channel manager that we also rent to other clients, but also it's most important thing for us, it's made for us, for our business, for our know-how. And specific about us is that what we already done, and it's important in this situation, is that we outsourced many of our services like cleaning and check-in, and of course spreading the business to other not only places but countries through the franchise. So today in this situation specifically it seems as a great idea, but also in the terms of the past tense times which we concentrate on the quality of the property management company, of the revenue, of the quality customer service, high grades for our reviews, for our units. We have today 7,000 units as a Direct Booker, and 3,500 managed by us directly, and 3,500 through the franchise units. And we see the big opportunity in this COVID times for our franchise, as it seems it hit hard our branch, that some of the workers will end up without job, and that is the, let's say, typical franchise beginner for Direct Booker. Our franchise seems to have the big opportunity, as some of the workers end up without job, and that is the typical franchise beginner for Direct Booker, know the business and want to start the business from the beginning.
So
and yes.
So if I can also say something as you just said, right? So from the beginning, with your model, franchise model, you have a very big emphasis on two things, which are profitability, right? And that's why also you said you were outsourcing some key tasks as well to be flexible with cleaning and also check-in, exactly. So which we're going to see, maybe that's why it's also helping you right now. And the second thing, as you said, is quality, right? Very important for you to have quality with the franchises. So I just wanted to highlight this again in
yeah, the thing is, we saw the opportunity to grow with check-in. We opened the market, even the Montenegro, we opened by ourselves. The other towns as Split, Zagreb, Šibenik, Zadar, we all of them opened by ourselves. But we saw that the quality is in danger to be jeopardized. So what we decided is to find a model to have the local presence, but without our deep dive in it, as you cannot control it so quality as the person on site can. And our model is more as a friend to the owners, and it's important to have the local presence. For that, it's very difficult to have that relationship with them on the distance. So that model was only logical through the franchise, and the franchise business also in the beginning we suggest even to try to do the check-in and the cleaning. It's important for them, as anybody in the company. I also in my company, when we started, I was doing all the communication with the guests, with the owners, with the taxis, with everybody. Wow. So now I can give suggestions to others and learn to them. So it's important also for the franchisers, as he will start with 1 or 2 persons to do all the job, and then as he grows to to have concentration on the revenue, on the quality of the customer service, procedure of the payment, and to have that flow as much as good as can be.
So how's the situation right now for in terms of demand in your markets?
Yeah, if we look back 12 months, we had about 300 reservation in direct booker that we do without franchise. Today it's about 20-30 reservations, so it's 90% of them. But from the other hand, the reservation is coming, and it's coming even from June. The people will not start travel that we see, and when we spoke with the guests who have the non-refundable reservations, I would say now maybe 75% of them postponed to the end of the season, middle of the season, or to the next year, which is great. The people will not start traveling. It will just maybe have not 5 per year, maybe 3, and it will not spend 100% of the spending last year. It will spend 50% every second night in the restaurant, maybe, or something like that. It will be traveling will not end for sure.
So obviously you're in different markets, and if for people who are not in Europe, maybe should them to understand you're across a lot of countries, and some countries actually are let's say drive to destinations, and some are more like fly to destinations. Some areas you have, even within some countries, actually like Croatia, and some people say when the some travel bans lift, that first it would be the drive to destinations that will get some demand. So what do you think of that, and what do you think is going to be the impact for your own business?
Yeah, we have the situation of flying destination here in Dubrovnik, but also we see our other destinations that are driving. I heard about information that Croatia it's driving. Yes, it is. Most of it, it is under 500 or 600 kilometers with highways connected to Austria, southern of Germany, Italy, Slovenia, Hungary, and that's, let's say, great situation in this case. I don't see that it's only about a country that will travel inside the country. It's not possible to keep the person inside. Maybe someone will, maybe some percentage will be more traveling inside, but we in Croatia cannot expect that. Totally last year was the 8% local guests here in Croatia. Today, with economic situation, will be maximum 4% of the capacity that can be. So we need guests from the other countries, and I see that especially if I look to Dubrovnik, it's a great opportunity to come to Dubrovnik in this season, specifically because Dubrovnik is a small city with the cruise ships. It's so crowded, and this year there is no cruise ships. There is no better year to visit Dubrovnik than this year. Really, it is because today you can find flowers coming from the stones of Dubrovnik. That is the pictures that are going around the social networks. It's something specific, and as I see the reservations coming through the all Europe, Poland, North Europe, and the people are calculating that they will travel. Even if Dubrovnik, it's not drive-in this destination. We all know that modern guests is connecting several places during the 7 days or 10, 14 days trip. So if somebody, let's say, starts from Munich in Germany, which is 500 kilometers to Zagreb, and Dubrovnik, it's 600 kilometers from Zagreb, it can be calculated in the same trip, as usually during the normal times. Many of our guests are coming from any directions, but seeing also the Dubrovnik, the Plitvice lakes, which is 500 kilometers away, and the places between. So I don't expect that Dubrovnik will be without drive-in guests, but of course, Western Croatia is in better situation, as we see already. But Dubrovnik will be better, of course, when the flights come back.
So what I'm hearing from you as well is that because your company is spanning across different markets, so maybe some will benefit more from this drive to tourists coming. And that's also a great time to go to Dubrovnik, which also I was thought about when we talked about earlier. And so when we hear this, like across different markets, and you have a different business model. So if I'm a property manager listening to you now, what can I learn from your business model in the current crisis? What are the good sides, and what maybe could I be thinking of doing right now or planning to do to adapt for the future that's been working for you with your focus on profitability and quality, for example?
Yeah. If I change the picture of direct booker in the direction that we started, we do the check-in and cleaning and also opening the offices throughout Croatia and 8 countries that we already have the franchise, it will be the big headache for us in this situation to pay all the check-in managers, the cleaning ladies, the other offices and stuff like that. It's even now with 44 employees, it's a big challenge to calculate the situation, as we all don't know how it will be played this season. So from direct booker experience, I can suggest that outsourcing the check-in and the cleaning from the perspective of the quality, and so you can concentrate on the service of the revenue management, IT development that we are doing also. We don't have the cost of the IT renting technologies, but we have the 8 developers. In this situation, we are even now have the offers for our IT department to make some solutions out of tourism. So we can now financing ourselves through our IT department, bringing money from other branches that now need help. And also the outsourcing, because we all know that property management branch is highly local sensitive. So spreading throughout country and other places from one place, I would not suggest specifically in this situation, and even on the long terms.
And And to talk maybe about different models right now who may have more difficulties. So we talked about, there may be some, we heard in the US, like Vacasa, for example, who is a very huge multinational companies, had a different model, right? Different model that from what you just talked about, they probably had more employees on the ground in every, so not franchises, but what do you think of the other business models like master leases, for example?
Yeah, the master leases, I think they are in worse situation from all of us now if they need to pay the rent they already agreed of. We don't have from 7,000 units even one that we agreed on the master lease contract. We are working on commission, and in this situation is the same for the renter and for the us. But if I'm looking on the master lease, we have the situation with the master lease situation in our offices that we need to pay 250 square meters per month. And what we do already done, and I could suggest for the master lease, is also to be a human in this situation, to be 100% honest, and to tell the renters the situation. They can also see the situation, of course, but if you present the numbers with 90%, 100% of the less of the income, of course, everybody will have wide open hands to discuss about new terms. We get 100%, let's say, forgiveness for the bill of the rent of our office. So that is the case that I will do with each of the renter that I have the master lease. I would speak with each of them. Some of them maybe are not in some critical situation with this. Some of them maybe yes. So maybe somewhere they can save 100% of the rent and move it for some other period, or some let's say rates that can be paid in months. But from the other hand, somebody needs money right now, so to not find a model with each of them. It's not one size fits all. So it's meeting by meeting as this business grows, meeting by meeting.
So you've been able, it's also so advice for everyone, obviously, to try to renegotiate. If you have offices, to try to negotiate with the owner of the buildings, I guess, where the office, because you do probably have a long lease, as you said, right? These offices, try to renegotiate with them. But also, if I understand correctly, in a lot of countries, actually the states, the governments have put into place measures to forgive some of these loans or some of these rents, or to postpone them, push them back. And I know that you're very involved actually in talking with local governments to make sure that they are the right measures put into place to help property managers as well as vacation rental owners. So can you share with us what you're doing and why you think other property managers, vacation rental owners should be doing the same?
Yeah, I'm in the community of the renters for Croatia, one of the representatives, and I went to the national TV also with some demands from the renters in this situation. What we ask is 12 to 18 months of the moratorium on the bank loans. So not to forgive, just to delay paying maybe 12 to 18 months. Because in Croatia, if you don't earn from July to end of the September, it's 85% less income. So they will not have the money. Now the moratorium is on 6 months, and if it stays the 6 months and there is no season, very few of it, in October and November, there will not be money for the rent. So the only logical solution is to give the moratorium on 12 to 18 months, to give the opportunity to renter to start earning from the next season and to pay. It will prolong the terms of the loan for 1 year or 1.5 years, of course, but now you cannot ask the money if there is no money. And it's very important that moratorium is without interest on the loan, because you cannot earn in this situation, which is the major force. So that was the first thing that we asked for. The second thing is, if the income is zero, the cost to the government needs to be zero. If the income is 20%, the cost needs to be 20%. Logical. And the third one is that is also already done for the entrepreneurs, because the Croatia are like a physical persons paying the VAT on the fixed basis. So because of that, they are not entrepreneurs, and they didn't get the loan for liquidity. You know, my company also, I'm now doing the asking for the money for the liquidity, but the renters can't, because they are like a physical persons. So they need to make some loan for the liquidity for the renters. It will not be a big one. It's just for surviving till the next season, because some of the renters are living from the some of the renters are living from the pension, and the pension here is very low. So if there is no income from the renting, or some renters are living only from the renting, they will not have any money to survive to the next season. So they need to have some loan from the bank and to start paying it for 12 months for the period of 3 years, let's say, and it will be up to 5,000 euro just for the person to survive. They don't need to invest.
So, Nino, if I understand correctly, so here, of course, renters in this context are vacation rental owners who may or may not basically be incorporated as a company, right? So exactly as you said, with your own company, you can actually apply for some measures like liquidity loans or kind of things that the government is doing. So with your action, with your group's action, so you've really been able to propose these actions for the vacation rental owners, right? Also have moratory on the loans, or doing something on making their costs, let's say the costs variable when it comes to paying things to the state. Can be licenses, can be tax, as kind of things. And and are these measures that you're talking about, are these things that have been already voted or are being discussed? What's the status right now?
So there was the 2 waves of measures from the government, and after the first waves that was not so good, entrepreneurs from Croatia come together from all sides in one Facebook group and make a big thing from it. It is now over 100,000 entrepreneurs in the group, and it's already like a community, officially made a community, and it's already have the made the changes to the second waves of the measures from the government. In the first measures, there was some subventions to all the entrepreneurs in minimal salary to the owners, but it was a small salary, and just to postpone all the payment you need to make on the salary. So in this situation that nobody is guilty for it, it's just postponed. Who will pay it later? From what money? And then the entrepreneurs come together, and also I, as the representative of the renters, came in some board of it, and for the entrepreneurs also and for the renters. And in the second wave of the measures, let's say for now we have better help from the government. It's a higher amount of the salary that they paid for the next 3 months. It's about 600 euros, which is okay for these opportunities here, let's say. And it's the logic, if the income or losing of income is 80%, you will not pay 80% of the extras on the salary that you need to pay to the employee. So with that measures, we are now okay for, let's say, 4 months without problem. We can do it, because if you have a 100% of the salary paid to the employee, now let's say more than 75%, it's already done by the government. question is how long it can be done. But when the not borders, when we start living here in Croatia, normally when the hair salons, restaurants, everybody open, then they will not need to pay everybody. Now they need to pay everybody. But I think the tourism would need to be supported for 12 months at least.
Yeah, I agree with you, right? It's like, so these kind of measures where the government steps in and pays all or part of the salary, which is, I think, called in English furlough. I hope my pronunciation is right, but I think we all understand the concept here. Yes, it's going to be extended because, for example, in my home country, France, even though they're announcing that the lockdown will stop on May 11, they still announced that it will not stop. People will be able to open the business, but not hotels, not restaurants. So it's going to be very long because obviously especially in Europe, we're getting to the high season for a lot of destinations. So it's going to be long impact over time. So I would put.
If I can just add,
Go ahead, Nino.
The always same logical conclusion is if income is zero, cost needs to be the zero. So depending of your income, when you compare it with last year, and if it is on 12 months less than 70%, then you shouldn't pay extras on the salary for 70%. The goal is to keep employees. If we don't keep it, then the government will pay it from the other hand. So on this way, we are paying them, and the business is growing. Without it, they will be without job, but the government again will need to pay them.
Yeah, and also to link back to a point that you mentioned earlier, Nino, that again, that maybe that non-European watchers do not realize that on the map, Croatia is one of the smaller countries in Europe, but when it comes to vacation rentals, holiday rentals, Croatia is almost among the top 3 markets, I think, in number of vacation
properties.
rentals.
Yes.
It's huge, huge. So it's.
I checked on one of the biggest of these OTAs, and Italy have 50,000 of the property. Spain it's 41. Croatia is 36,000, and it's unbelievable fact. So what is the opportunity for Croatia in this situation is that it is the closest sea in this situation for the middle and North Europe. Closest sea in the terms of the vacation rentals.
Warm sea, I would say, because
warm sea. Yeah,
in the cold water, no.
Yeah, in the terms of summer season.
Yeah, so that's an opportunity. And to close it again here, so for property managers again, because a lot of them are in survival mode for the moment, right? So you've been able to outsource things, keep things light, even renegotiate rents for your offices. Is there one last thing that people need to do right now? So how about this relationship with staff? What to do with your own staff right now, because of course some people have had to make very tough decision, right, with their staff, and some people in this video series have told how they had to lay off 75%. Some people have told how basically they always use flexible staff so they don't have the issue. And some of them I've said, I know Andrew from Bali has said that his team right now, he's only have a few people left but who are super motivated and coming up with solutions. And so what's going on with your own staff, I would say, and what would be the advice?
One thing will come out from this situation for sure, that everybody will come out leaner. We always thinking about do we need so much people or not, and now in this situation we will see really who is there 100% for the company. Of course we will be behind them. It's a good situation it will be if there is a moratorium on the private loans on 12 months. In this situation, then the employers can also be a part of the survival mode, because we cannot pay, there is no mathematical calculation for it. So what we are doing on a daily basis in our company is calculating, of course, the costs without a season, of course. We need to have the worst scenario that we will survive, and we will. It's not for us, it's not a problem, but we need help from the employees also, and we have it. I'm proud of them. We are all now working from home 100%. There's nobody in the office, and they are working great, and results is telling that, because 75% of the request for the money return it's postponed, and 25 it's you know, the OTAs stand back behind the guests. We cannot do it anything if they contact them directly. But in our communication with guests, 75% is coming with a great solution. So of course, employees needs to be with the company in this situation. It's there is no mathematicals. If there is a 90% of the income less, to pay the total amount of the salaries. But again, if your costs from the side of the rent, loan, or something is postponed for 12 months, you can be the part of the solution also. You will have a job, but of course we need to find a mathematical solution, which part of the salary you will bring to the company to survive.
That's wise words to help property managers who are in survival mode on how to think for the next months, at least 6 months. I just want to, give also, thank you for your time today, and make sure that people want to come to Croatia, and put one personal note, right? Because we're doing this from homes, but you are in one very specific home. Maybe can you share? I think isn't it one of the best holiday homes in Europe where you are right now?
Yeah, from 2017. It's my family home from 17th century, 1665. And 2 years later, it was the biggest earthquake in this country ever. And it's interesting, this morning was also earthquake here in Dubrovnik. You can find it on the news, and it's not so big as in Zagreb, but it was something that I remembered of. And we had renovated it for the renting in 2015. We go on the European Holiday Home Association and apply for the best holiday home in Europe for a vacation, and won it among 450 houses in Europe. So here is the short is about here, and from the other side is the best holiday home in Europe.
So you're true expert, right, for your company, even for your own home. So congratulations.
Yeah, for the owner homes, I need to give all credits to my to people before me here, because I just renovated it. Yeah. And it's called Falcon Rook. You can look it online.
Is it on Direct Booker?
Everywhere. It's on OTAs and everywhere.
All right. So I'll make sure to add the links to the Facebook group that you have, and also maybe one link to the property if people want to check it out. That could be super.
Okay.
So once again,
thank you very much,
for
Thibaut.
all the insights. That was very interesting, and I wish you a great day.
Thank you, Thibaut. It was nice to meet you and to speak about our branch. We will come back stronger from this, of course.